That's right, you're reading the title correctly. I changed your TradingView chart. Here's how I did it. As any longtime viewer knows, I absolutely love Elliott wave theory, and I've read quite a few books on Elliott wave theory, and they bring up quite often the idea of the real value of the Dow or the SP 500. What they're really referring to if the US didn't drop the gold standard, if we kept using gold as a countermeasure to the US dollar, which we end up dropping in 1971 under Richard Nixon. So ever since then, we haven't been using the gold standard. So what if we did use the gold standard? That's where the charts start to get really, really interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look at exactly how I changed your chart that you can see. I have been using TradingView for quite a long time now, and it's definitely my very favorite marking up platform. And if you're a technical analysis trader, they're definitely the place to go. Within TradingView, I have noticed that there's been two charts that go back really, really far. That is the DJI, which goes back to 1896, and SPX, which goes back to 1871. So both these charts go back an extremely long time, back down to the end of the 1800s, which is absolutely insane that we're able to have that much data. You may be wondering, why is this data useful? Why do you even care about data that long ago? Is it even relevant today? It's more used for backtesting purposes, as well as just being interesting to look at and see how much we've come in terms of the DJI, for example, being so little value now and being worth $30,000 now today. So this is absolutely an amazing tool that they have that goes back so far. However, what's something that's been older than even these indices? Well, that's the value of gold. The value of gold has been traded for thousands of years, and on TradingView, to my knowledge, until yesterday, they actually only had data back into the end of 1971. So this is very, very recent data, and I'm not able to look at that real gold rate exchange for the DJI versus gold, and now I'm only stuck with the DJI versus normal US dollars. So if we want to look at the real value of the DJI, according to these Elliott wave books, we'd have to look at the value of the DJI over gold and that ratio. So within TradingView, they have the option to type in different pairs at the top right and top left, and they will say exactly what pair it is over another pair, and you can get the ratio of those two pairs on one chart. That's exactly what I was looking for. So I ended up looking up, trying to find the oldest data for gold, and like I said, it was only into 1971. This isn't quite enough on a macroscopic scale to chart these long-term Elliott waves that I've read about in these Elliott wave books. So I really wanted to be able to use that. So I ended up reaching out to the staff at TradingView, and here's what I said. Is there any other charts that have market data that goes back as far? What is the ticker symbol that has the farthest backwards data? If you know, by the way, if you know anything that has any data even around the 1800s, even if it doesn't go quite into it, please let me know in the comments below. I love to mark up super old data and see how it compares, if strategies still work that long ago as they do today. And I also said the farthest back gold data I could find is XAUUSD, which goes back to late December 1974. Excuse me, I think I said 71 earlier. Is there any gold, CFD, index, broker chart, or otherwise that goes back any farther? Number 4. And lastly, which commodities goes back the farthest? Thank you for your time and looking into this. Please respond to all 4 questions if possible. I have numbered them before each question starts. Blake. So this was, I was just trying to get and see, I love, like I said, I love marking up old data. So if you know something, please let me know in the comments below. I would really, really appreciate it. You know, any ticker symbols that goes back even remotely as far as that one on TradingView. James replied, he said, "Hello, thank you for your message. Kindly note that we display all available historical daily data on daily interval. Therefore, the only way to find which tickers have the longest trading history is to make your own search on this information, and then to open the chart for these specific symbols and check all their available history. Thank you for your understanding. Kind regards." So this was leaving me a little bit dry mouth, basically. I was still salivating for that big, juicy, long-term data, and I just wasn't really accepting this what seemed to me at least like a a partial response. So he didn't actually answer all 4 of my questions, so I followed up with him. I said, hello James, thank you for your response, but please address all my questions above. My main question is the value of gold can be tracked well before the 1800s in USD or GBP, yet I can't find the chart on TradingView that does this or goes beyond December of 1974. Does TradingView simply laugh at data, or is there a specific symbol or ticker that exceeds 1974? James responded to this one with a kind of a strange message. It's not really strange in what he said, it's just strange in how it appeared to me on TradingView. They have this little scroll bar here. It says, he quoted me at first, he said, my main question is the value of gold tracked well before the 1800s or GBP. And then you have to go down a little bit. He said, kindly note that we display all available data provided officially by our vendors. If you have found a ticker with historical data that starts before the 1800s on another source, example, official exchange websites, etc., please provide us with the link and I will forward you your request to add this data to our development team. So this is exactly what I did, and this is how I actually affected your data that you can see for gold on TradingView. Let's go ahead and continue. I said, I appreciate that. I found this chart for the last 100 years and provided a link for that. I also found this info on the last 200 years, provided another one. I'm sure you're able to find even better charts. I used what was really simple search, 1800 gold chart. Google search to find those. There might be some that go back even farther. Here's one that goes back 128 years, both gold and silver. And he responded with 3 different messages. He said, let me check with our data team on how reliable this data is and whether they will consider adding those charts to our platform. I will get back to you once I receive their reply. Thank you for your patience. Then he said, our team will consider adding this data to our platform, and once it will be done, we will let you know. Thank you for your patience and understanding. And then really shortly after that, he says, we have added historical bars until 1950 on these tickers, TBC Gold and FX IDC XAU USD. Feel free to open a new ticket if you want help again. After that, I just thanked him and closed the ticket. So now, instead of having data only on gold back until 1974, we have data on gold all the way back to 1950. I know this is still not as far as I was hoping to get. I really wanted that data all the way back as far as the DJI and the SPX. The main reason for that is I'll show you on the screen now. When you pull up that chart, DJI XAU USD, you can now see only as far back as whichever one of the 2 instruments have less data. So because the DJI goes back before so long ago, but gold doesn't go back as far, you can still only go back on this chart, even if you're on a very, very high time frame, back to 1950. More specifically, it looks like January, so they're right at the beginning of that, and I'm using the weekly chart here. So if you don't use the weekly chart, you might not be able to see the data all the way back that far. They may only have it for the weekly. I haven't actually tested on the smaller time frames, but this is a macroscopic case anyways, so all I need is just that weekly data. So I'm really thankful to James on the support team as well as TradingView for adding more data. I do hope that eventually we can add even more data for gold, at least it doesn't have to be against the US dollar. If it's against pounds, that's absolutely fine, or euros or whatever have you, that's absolutely fine. But as long as we get more data, I would just absolutely love that. So thanks so much for adding this. Thanks so much for you for watching to sticking to the end of the video. I really, really appreciate it. If you did enjoy this, if you enjoyed seeing how I was actually able to influence the charts on gold, go ahead and hit the like button. I really, really appreciate it. Subscribe if you loved it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.